What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. Now, I did a video just for fun. I did like a tournament with middleweights and heavyweights, and I said I wanted y'all to narrow it down who was going to come down to the last two and who you think would win and why. Now, a friend of mine, we had a conversation, and he was naming, his favorite middleweights. I really don't do my favorite fighters stuff. I just go with what's going on. Respect due to everybody who did their thing, man. But he was naming people as middleweights, and I'm saying no in terms of accomplishments. Um, I would have to take certain people off of that middleweight list. Okay, in terms of accomplishments, it's all like longevity, and you know, um, let me give you an example. When you talk about Pernell Whitaker, right? You look at him from lightweight all the way up to 154. He won the title from Julio Cesar Vasquez at 154. He never defended the title. You understand what I'm saying? It was just an accomplishment, a one-time thing. So I can't rank Pernell Whitaker as one of the best 154 pounders. He didn't fight Terry Norris. There's other fighters he didn't fight, and I think that weight class was too much for Pernell Whitaker as far as him staying there. Um, and Vasquez was like the weakest champion at 154. Okay, not to discredit Pernell, he did what he had to do, but I can't rank him at 154. And as the accomplishment of winning the title, yeah. Um, if you go to 147 against De La Hoya in Trinidad, he lost. You know, his best fights was at lightweight. Okay, his better accomplishments was at lightweight. Um, Now this guy had my friend. He had Oscar De La Hoya and he had Sugar Ray Leonard up there, as, pound for pound middleweights, and I said I can't put them in there because Oscar, look, he went up, he fought Felix Stern. My opinion, Felix Stern won that fight. They robbed him so they could make Oscar De La Hoya versus Bernard Hopkins. Okay. Not only do I feel like they robbed Felix Stern, but then he got knocked out with a body shot by Bernard Hopkins. So because he's a great fighter, De La Hoya, and he went to middleweight, how can you rank him as pound for pound as a middleweight? You know, his best weight, was as a welterweight. So 130, 135 to 147, 140. Like his the smaller weights, 140. He's not. I mean 140 and up. Like he fought Chavez, he fought these. He fought Pinell. He fought these guys. Understand? As an accomplishment, yeah, I went up. I got a title. I went to another weight class. I got a title. But your title defenses of that title. You understand what I'm saying? Sugar Ray Leonard fought at middleweight before he fought Marvin Hagler because he wanted to test the waters. And I remember him saying, like, it wasn't the same because he's hitting these guys and they're not going anywhere. So I don't think he really felt like he was ready for Marv at that point at 160. And whether he would have did, he might have beat Marv anyway. Who knows? Regardless, he fought Marv. That was a great accomplishment. But you can't say because he beat Marv that, oh, you got to rank him at 160 because he had the title at 160. You got to look at how many title defenses he had. You understand what I'm saying? How long did he stay there with beating Marv? Yeah, Marv was the guy, but there's other guys that Marv didn't fight that. Who knows? Maybe one of these guys would have beat Marv. Who knows? There was guys like James Toney, Mike McCallum. There was other guys on the rise, man. Julian Jackson. There were other guys there. Michael Nunn. You can't just like rank a person because they win one fight. Just like with Roy Jones. Roy Jones went to heavyweight. He won the title. He never defended it. I can't rank Roy Jones as a pound for pound heavyweight. You understand what I'm saying? The accomplishment, yes. And I think people have a hard time distinguishing that because they like the fighter. I don't want to see anybody beat Roy Jones. But at the same time, I can't rank Roy Jones as an all-time great heavyweight. Light heavyweight and middleweight, yes, that's where he did the majority of his work. You know what I'm saying? Now James Toney wound up going to heavyweights and spent the rest of his career as a heavyweight. So I can rank him now. How high you rank James Tony on your pound for pound list is one thing, but what I'm saying, look at the accomplishments there versus what he did as a cruiserweight versus what he did as a middleweight, a super middleweight. You know, you got to look at all of that. You know, the same thing. Like, what did Thomas Hearns accomplish as a cruiserweight and a light heavyweight as opposed to what he did, even the middleweight, as opposed to what he did at 147. So when you compare these guys as all-time greats, you can't. It's not like they dominated every division that they went in. You know what I'm saying? They dominated. They had a name. They went up. They won some fights. They lost some fights. It's that type of thing. So I said no. I can't put Oscar and I can't put Ray Leonard on that middleweight list. Now, what I find interesting is every time I see a middleweight, pound for pound middleweight list, and I see a top 10, I never see Nigel Benn, Steve Collins, Chris Eubanks, um, Joe Calzaghe. I never see these guys. And it's your opinion. You like who you like. I'm not telling you who to like. I'm just saying, it's funny because here's guys that spent their careers at that weight, or the majority of their career at that weight, and you're not ranking these guys. And these guys were world champion and were great fighters. But people see things different ways. So this is what I mean about ranking a fighter a certain way. When I did the little, challenge for fun, the little, tournament thing, that was just for fun. And I tried to, I used people that never fought each other and didn't want to be typical and just pick the same, same old. The guys, I could have put Ali, Mike Tyson, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, like, the same, and same thing with the middleweights. I could have put Ray Robinson. I could have put Ray Leonard because he fought at middleweight, and so that's all that was. But it is, I just find it interesting that people still don't understand. They're picking guys because they like the guy, but they're not looking at the accomplishment. Um, Look at Michael Mora. Michael Mora went from light heavyweight to heavyweight, and to be honest with you, I think he was more effective as a light heavyweight. Yes, he beat Evander Holyfield. That was his biggest accomplishment and became world champion. You know, he also got knocked out by George Foreman. Light heavyweight is where he made his mark. Now, Evander Holyfield is either or. You could call him the greatest cruiserweight of all time, easily. Um, I mean, heavyweights is it's opinions, but look at his accomplishment as a heavyweight as well. Four-time world heavyweight champion. I mean, so everybody doesn't have the same results. And then they talk about legendary status, and just because you've been fighting for a long time does not make you no goddamn legend. We can pull up a whole bunch of names from back in the day. That does not make you a legend because people remember who you are. It's what you accomplished. This is something people have a hard time distinguishing. Like when I say Marvin Hagler as a prize fighter, I do not rank Marvin Hagler. Now, you want to talk about greatest middleweights? Yes, because all of what he did was at middleweight. So how can you compare him in terms of accomplishments to a Floyd, a Pacquiao, even Ray Leonard, as far as going back up and down, winning titles in different divisions. How can you can't middleweight, yes, but you can't. How can we say he would have beat this guy, that guy, when we don't know that because he fought at middleweight. Duran, Leonard, Hearns, all those guys went up to fight him, and they all came from middleweight. Duran was a fucking lightweight, and people forget that. So when I look at these guys and I'm rating them, I'm not rating them like because of who I don't like no fight. Look, listen, I really don't have a list of, well, this is my favorite guy. Like, I'm not a fan. I respect and I appreciate Terry Norris, Roy Jones, guys like that, Evander, Muhammad Ali. You know, I don't want to see anybody beat those guys. Anthony Joshua. You know, I don't want to see anybody beat those guys. But those guys, I can't rank them. Terry Norris, for example. You know, I like Terry as much as I like any other fighter. You know, Terry did the majority of his work at 154. Now, the fact that he could have made 147 or 160, yes, but I can't rank him in that because he's never fought at those divisions. So even though, this guy he could have went down and fought and beat or went up and beat, it's not the way it happened. So Terry Norris, his weight class was 154, and that's what I rank him. Only beat, even if it's, like I said, there's guys I feel like he would have beat. I believe he would have beat going up or down, but it didn't happen. So I can't use my imagination and just automatically assume, like, put him at a certain rank in a division he's never fought at. So it's the same thing. Even if you fought at a division, but you didn't like defend your title, you didn't have successful title defenses, you didn't really do too much damage there. Then no, no. I think you all get the gist of what I'm saying. And pretty much, people got to stop this fanboy stuff thinking with their emotions, man. Like, that's what I mean when I'm saying, how could you put somebody in a particular category when, and it's like people that say, well, it's unfair for the heavyweights because they only fight at one weight class. Yeah, at the same time, you got guys like Holyfield who was able to transition up. Now, he never went back down. We saw Chris Bird do that, and Chris Bird was at the end of his career, and so it didn't work out for him. Like he was saying, I got used to getting hit by heavyweights, so now getting hit by light heavyweight is nothing. I get what they're saying. I've been hearing that for the longest. I remember Prince Charles Williams used to say that, but no, it don't matter what weight class you in, you can get knocked out. Bottom line, and if I look at Chris Bird's accomplishments, um, I don't rank him as an all-time great heavyweight as well because his better days was as a light heavyweight. You know, what he did to me wasn't enough to put him as an all-time great as a heavyweight. When I look at like I said, like the Thomas Hearns, he went all up to cruiserweight, but Thomas Hearns, I don't rank him as an all-time great cruiserweight, light heavyweight, middleweight, um, super middleweight. Not an all-time great. All-time great welterweight, yes, yes. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say in this video. I will catch y'all on the next one.